ever had it used Cioppino?
What the heck's Cioppino?
I don't know, but whenever Anita makes it, it's always good. Hey, Anita, why don't you make us some Cioppino?
Those boys are so sweet. My beautiful sweet boys. I will make Cioppino for you. Cioppino is a stew that originated out of San Francisco from Italian immigrants who went there to work in the fishing industry. And they would have these big cauldrons on the docks, and as boats would come in, everyone would chip in to make this stew. It's Cioppino. That's the way I understand it. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I'm sticking to that story. So here's what we have. Very simple. I have this beautiful seafood, some shrimp, some mussels, anchovy, that's going to be in the base, so there's only 2 fillets there, Alaskan cod, sea scallops, which I've cut in half, they were huge. I have a few pieces of squid, some snow crab, and little neck clams. And these mussels, I wanted to talk about shellfish. These guys, you have to go through them. Now these were very, very cold in the fridge. So I took them out and I've been watching them. Let's see if he's going to close up. Barely. Oh, yeah, he's closing. See? So if they're very cold, sometimes it takes them a while to wake up. So just because you see them open, don't throw them out right away. Wake up, little guy. And if they don't close, then you throw them away. I have a few here, and see, they were fine yesterday, so I'm kind of thinking they're just cold. Oh yeah, he's closed already. This one is closed. So these are all good. If you have a purveyor where you buy your seafood and you're not sure if they're sandy or not, the best thing to do is soak the clams and mussels in salt water, like icy salt water, for maybe an hour, and they will spit out the sand that they have inside of them. But these guys are always nice and clean, so I haven't bothered doing that. I wanted to show you how I open up or take the shells off of shrimp. What I do is I just go down the back and right through the shell. And then that way, if there's that little tract in there of sand, I can see it right away and I pull it out. So it makes fast work of shelling your seafood. Then let's move on to the rest of the ingredients. I have some celery, garlic, some chopped up onions, and these are San Marzano tomatoes. I bought them whole, and they came in a can, of course. I bought them whole and I've pureed them myself. I only buy whole tomatoes because they actually do have a flavor difference. If you buy chopped, they're not as good. The puree has the least amount of flavor of any of the canned tomatoes. So, and San Marzano, you know, now they have that variety in the United States. They grow them in New Jersey, Florida, probably, they do grow in California. So, and they're all good quality San Marzano. The reason for San Marzano is because the skin is thin, the flesh is thick, so you have a lot of flesh, and there are very few seeds. And then we're just going to finish this up with some parsley. That's at the very end. I also made a little seafood stock, and if you haven't made seafood stock, it's very simple. I take whatever shells from the shrimp, or if I have fish bones or fish heads, depending on the fish that you buy, you put all of that in a pot, not the gills, but all of the rest of it can go in a pot, the tail, the fins, and you put a little water over it just to cover with an onion, some garlic, and a piece of celery, and just let it boil for about 20 minutes. That's it. Strain everything off, and you have fish stock. And if you don't want to do that, that's okay. Clam juice is fine. And another good addition to this dish is fennel, which I almost put in. I might finish it with that. So let's get started. I have a pot on medium heat. I'm just going to add some olive oil. Onions go in. So I'm just going to finish chopping my parsley and garlic, and this will take about 7 to 10 minutes, and I'll see you then. These vegetables have softened up, so now we make the base. The first thing to go in is going to be my anchovy. And I'm not counting that as a fish, that's just a little flavor boost that will disintegrate in this oil. And it gives this a little umami, salty background. You'll never know it's anchovy, but it's definitely there. Then I have the seafood stock going in. And I didn't mention this, but white wine, very important for this dish. So that's about 3/4 of a cup. And the tomatoes. I've minced my parsley, and I've tied all of these stems together because stems can cook longer. The parsley will go on just at the end just to finish the dish, but there's flavor in here, and now it's in there. So I'm just going to add a little bit of salt. And that's your base. This will go for 20 minutes, and then we'll put the seafood in. This base is ready to roll. I'm just removing these parsley stems. And now the seafood goes in. So what you need to do is just have an understanding of how long everything's going to cook. I'm just going to cut this cod in half. And everything goes in really quickly. The next thing can be the squid. You don't have to use squid, you can use salmon, you can use different kinds of fish. Just think what fishermen would catch in the Pacific Ocean. Go from there. I'm putting the scallops in now too. I'll give those just a few minutes, and in the meantime, when you get these snow crabs, these are already cooked. So I'm just going to break these up. I'm going to use my scissors. I have 2 pairs of kitchen scissors. One is used in trauma centers. That's these. You can buy them, they're very inexpensive. You can buy them in medical supply shops. And they're great to have around. They cut through cans, things you wouldn't believe. So I'm just going to cut these legs up just so that guests have small pieces instead of trying to wrestle with one big whole leg. Next up are the clams and the mussels. And as soon as the mussels pop open, they're done. May as well put the shrimp in now too. So everybody in the pool, it's all in there. It smells like the ocean. I'm just going to put the lid on this, and when those shellfish are open, we're ready for business. Well, this is ready. So exciting. Cioppino, boys, I made it for you. Come and get it. All that we have to do at this point is top it with this parsley. Just finish it off with that. Basil is nice too if it's in season. One thing I wanted to mention is that you should never cook seafood over high heat. This was gently simmering away, and the reason is because it can toughen up the meat. So I'm just going to take, ooh, this broth smells so good. And of course, you can't have cioppino without sourdough. You just get in that broth, and let me just taste the broth for you. Seafood stew. People make it all around the world. It's always so delicious. And this is right up there. So I hope that you try this recipe. If you've never made cioppino, don't be afraid of it. It's delicious. You can add whatever you want to it. And I hope to see you again. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.